Welcome to the Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern, where every cup tells a story, and every story starts with a sip. Join us on a journey of adventure, camaraderie, and of course, the finest brews, served hot and steeped in mystery. From dragons to ancient legends, we're brewing up more than just coffee. Today's tale begins, not with a warning, but with a welcome. At the crossroads, the fire is warm, the drinks are strong, and the stories flow freely. Laughter fills the tavern, and for a moment, everything is as it should be. But some stories are not told. They are played. And tonight, a simple game of chance will test more than luck. With every roll, the line between story and reality begins to blur, and what starts as harmless fun may become something far more difficult to end. So take a seat, listen closely, and be mindful what you agree to play. Now, grab your mug, settle in, and get ready for the next chapter in our brewing saga. Season 2, Episode 17, Game Night Gone Wrong Tonight. The crossroads is alive, not with danger, nor with shadows, but with something far rarer. Ease. The kind that settles deep into old wood and warm firelight. The kind that hums beneath laughter and the steady clink of mugs. The kind that convinces even the most hurried traveler to linger just a little longer than they planned. The Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern breathes in that ease. Voices overlap in a low, steady murmur, rising and falling like a tide. The hearth crackles at the room's center, a grounding rhythm beneath it all. And woven through it, soft and constant, the gentle hiss and bubble of something brewing. Behind the counter, Java leans over his work, small and intent, firelight catching along his dark scales and cream undertones. Before him, a blend steams in glass and copper, releasing the rich scent of coffee layered with something brighter, citrus, perhaps, or spice, or something just beyond naming. He tilts his head, watching it as though patience alone might coax out its secrets.
No, that's too sharp. It needs something softer. Something that lingers.
The brew answers with a quiet puff of steam. Not far from him, a sharper scent cuts through the warmth, bold, earthy, alive. Nived perches on a stool with a pouch open at his side, grinding spices in a steady rhythm. Stone against wood scrapes softly, and now and then there's a faint crackle as heat meets something potent. The air shifts just enough to make a nearby patron cough.
Better. Much better. That'll wake them up.
Across the room, a familiar voice carries with effortless confidence.
And I tell you, the beast was twice my height, teeth like daggers, breath that could curdle milk at 20 paces.
A mug lands with a solid, satisfied thump.
And naturally, I greeted it with grace, poise, and impeccable timing.
Laughter rolls outward from his table, warm and easy, blending seamlessly back into the tavern's rhythm. Near the edge of the room, Patches moves quietly between tables, her steps soft enough to vanish beneath the noise. A cup touches wood with a gentle clink, cloth rustles as she adjusts a wrap, and her voice lowers in calm reassurance to a weary traveler.
Drink slowly. It's still warm and so are you. That's what matters.
And somewhere, just at the edge of notice, there is stillness. Fate's skull does not call attention to herself. She never needs to. There is only the faint shift of fabric as she leans, the subtle creak of wood beneath her weight, and the quiet, unmistakable sense that nothing within this room escapes her awareness. For a moment, everything is exactly as it should be. No looming danger. No whispered warnings. No shadows pressing close to the door. Just warmth. Just breath. Just life at the crossroads. Then the door opens. The sound cuts cleanly through the tavern's rhythm, wood against hinge, a brief rush of cooler air slipping inside, carrying the scent of road dust and something faintly unfamiliar. Not unpleasant. Just different. Footsteps follow. Several sets. Measured, steady, purposeful. Something is set down just inside the doorway, a box, by the sound of it. Solid. Well crafted. Heavy enough to matter. The conversations don't stop, but they shift. Attention turns, not sharply, not rudely, but together, like a current pulling in one direction.
Good evening. We were told this was the place where stories gather.
A chair creaks as Bradicus leans back.
Well, you've found no shortage of those. Question is, are yours worth hearing?
Oh, we don't just tell stories.
A hand brushes against the box. There's a faint click as it's turned toward the room.
We play them.
The lid opens. Inside, crafted pieces shift gently against one another, wood on wood, smooth and deliberate. Then comes a sharper sound, small but unmistakable. Dice. The sound carries farther than it should. Behind the counter, Java's tools go still. Nived's grinding slows, then stops. Patches turns her head slightly. Fate does not move, but the air around her tightens, just enough to notice. There's weight in that box, not just in the pieces themselves, but in the care with which they are placed upon the table, each one set as though it belongs exactly where it rests.
A simple thing, really. A game of chance, of choice, of consequence.
A die rolls across the table. Not thrown, just nudged. It clicks softly against the wood and settles into stillness.
Care to join us?
Well now, how could I possibly refuse that?
Depends what kind of game this is.
One that makes stories.
Or changes them.
Be mindful what you agree to play.
The die shifts, just slightly. No one touches it. And just like that, the night begins to change. The box is not empty for long. Pieces are lifted out with careful hands and placed upon the table, each one set with quiet intention. You can hear the difference in them. Not rough cut or hastily made, but smooth, balanced, crafted to be handled. Small wooden figures, a folded board that opens with a soft, deliberate creak, and a set of dice that seem just a touch heavier than they should be. Chairs shift. Boots scrape lightly against the tavern floor as a few gather closer, curiosity drawing them in. The hum of the room doesn't disappear, but it lowers, like a conversation leaning in to listen.
It's simple. You create a character, a version of yourself, or someone you'd rather be. Strengths, flaws, talents, all decided here.
There's a soft tapping sound as one of the dice is turned between fingers, then set back down.
From there, the story unfolds. You choose your actions, and the dice decide your fate.
Ha! Finally, a game that understands the importance of dramatic tension.
And chance decides everything.
Not everything. Choice opens the door. Chance decides what walks through it.
A few amused murmurs ripple through the nearby patrons. It sounds harmless enough. Familiar, even. A game of imagination, of storytelling, of chance. And yet, there is a weight to the words that doesn't quite settle.
And the cost?
A brief pause follows her question. Not long. Just long enough to notice.
Only what you bring to it.
The answer is easy. Too easy. But the moment passes. Curiosity wins where caution lingers. Chairs pull closer. The game begins. You can hear it in the subtle shifts, the creak of the table as weight settles in, the soft slide of pieces finding their place, the quiet intake of breath before the first roll.
Let's begin simply. A dark path. A narrow trail through unknown woods. One torch to light the way. Who carries it?
Well, clearly, that falls to me.
A die is picked up. There's a brief pause, the kind that stretches just a fraction longer than expected. Then it rolls. The sound is clean and precise as it tumbles across the table, clicking once, twice, before settling.
Then let's see how well you manage it.
At that exact moment, a torch along the tavern wall flares. Not wildly. Not dangerously. Just enough that the flame grows brighter, sharper, casting longer shadows than it did a heartbeat before. There's a small pause in the room. A shift in attention. Then a chuckle from somewhere nearby. Coincidence.
Ah, you see? Even the tavern agrees with me.
Laughter follows, easy and dismissive, and the moment passes. But not entirely. The game continues.
The path is uneven. Roots twist beneath your feet. The ground is slick. Do you press forward or tread carefully?
Carefully.
Another die rolls. This time, The sound seems just a touch louder. It settles. Nived shifts on his stool. There's a small scrape of his foot against the wood, just slightly off balance before he steadies himself again.
Ha! Floor's uneven.
A nearby patron glances down at the floor. It is not. Still, the game moves on. Pieces slide across the board. The travelers narrate, their voices weaving a path through unseen woods, through imagined danger, through choices that seem small enough not to matter. And yet, the tavern listens. Behind the counter, Java watches more than he works now. The brew before him gives a soft, unsettled bubble, the surface rippling though no heat has changed.
That's not right.
He adjusts a valve slightly. The sound of steam shifts, but the feeling does not. At the table, Bradicus leans forward, fully invested.
I push ahead. Whatever's in those woods, it won't catch me unprepared.
The die rolls again. It lands. There's a sudden, solid thud. A nearby chair leg scrapes hard against the floor as Bradicus bumps into it, harder than intended. The wood groans slightly under the impact. A few heads turn.
Ah, nearly took that with me.
His voice carries humor, but there's a flicker of something else beneath it. Surprise. Nived watches more closely now. His grinding stone has gone still in his hands.
Do that again.
What? Nearly break the furniture. I'd rather not.
No! The roll.
There's a pause. The travelers exchange a glance, quick, subtle. Then one of them smiles.
Of course.
The die is set back on the table. But this time, no one touches it. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then, with a soft, deliberate motion, it rolls. On its own. A single turn. Then another. Before coming to rest. Silence does not fall. But something close to it does. The tavern's warmth remains. The fire still crackles. Voices still murmur in the background. And yet, something has shifted.
That wasn't a coincidence.
Her voice is quiet, but it cuts cleanly through the moment.
No. No, it wasn't.
Across the room, Fate has not moved. But now, she is watching the table directly.
The rules are being accepted.
The game has begun.
Another die lifts, just slightly, before settling back into place. No hand guides it. No breath disturbs it. And still, it moves. The pieces on the board seem heavier now. The air, just a little tighter. The line between story and reality, just a little thinner. And still, no one stands. No one walks away. Because the most dangerous part of any game is not the rules. It is the moment you decide to keep playing. The tavern does not fall silent, but it no longer sounds the same. The laughter still exists, faint and uncertain at the edges. The hearth still crackles, steady and familiar. But beneath it all, something else has taken root. A second rhythm. A quieter one. Like another world breathing just beneath the surface of this one. It begins subtly. A draft where no door is opened. A faint rustle that does not belong to cloth or movement within the room. The suggestion of distance in a space that has not changed. And at the center of it all, the table. The board rests there, unchanged in shape, unchanged in size, and yet, it feels larger. Not in sight, but in presence. The small carved figures stand where they were placed, but now they seem less like pieces, and more like representations of something waiting to be realized.
You press deeper into the woods. The path narrows. The light fades.
The words settle into the air, and the tavern listens. There is a faint sound, almost too quiet to notice at first. A whisper of wind that should not exist indoors. It slips along the walls, brushes past tables, stirs the edges of cloaks and sleeves. A patron near the door glances over their shoulder. There is no forest behind them. And yet, they shift, as if there should be. At the table, Bradicus leans forward, his posture changing, not dramatically, not all at once, but enough. His shoulders square. His voice lowers, steadies, takes on a weight that was not there before.
Then we move with purpose. No hesitation.
He reaches for his mug and grips it a touch tighter than needed. The wood creaks softly under his hand. Across from him, Nived's eyes gleam, reflecting firelight that flickers just a little too sharply now.
What do we face?
You don't know yet. Roll.
The die lifts. Not quickly. Not suddenly. But slowly, deliberately, as though the air itself has decided to move it. It turns once. Twice. Then drops. The sound it makes when it strikes the table is heavier than it should be. At that exact moment, a sharp crack echoes from somewhere in the tavern. A mug splits along its side, not shattered, not broken apart, but fractured cleanly as though struck by an unseen force. Liquid seeps through the line, dripping slowly onto the table beneath it. A startled breath escapes from its owner. No one laughs this time. Behind the counter, Java steps forward without thinking. The brew he left behind continues to bubble, but now the surface churns in uneven patterns, rising and falling as though responding to something beyond heat.
That's not just reaction.
His voice trails as he looks toward the table. Toward the game. Patches moves closer as well, her steps quieter than before, more deliberate. Her ears tilt slightly, listening not just to sound, but to something beneath it.
It's spreading.
Nived doesn't look away from the board.
No. It's matching.
The distinction matters. And it settles heavily. The travelers continue, though there is a tension in them now. Not fear, yet, but awareness.
The trees close in. The air grows thick. You hear something moving just beyond sight.
A soft scrape sounds from the far wall, wood against wood, as though something brushed along it. A chair shifts slightly, though no one sits in it. A shadow stretches just a fraction farther than the firelight should allow. A patron stands abruptly.
Did you hear that?
No one answers directly. Because they did. At the table, Bradicus straightens further, his voice stronger now, more certain, less storyteller, more something else.
Then we don't wait. Whatever's out there, we face it head on.
Nived exhales slowly. There's a faint curl of heat in it now, not enough to burn, but enough to feel.
Let it come.
We should stop.
The words are quiet, but firm. They hang there, unanswered. One of the travelers, the one guiding the game, shakes his head, just slightly.
It doesn't stop in the middle.
Fate shifts. It is a small movement, barely more than a change in posture. But it draws attention all the same.
It can.
Not without consequence.
Those words linger longer than the rest. Another roll begins. This time, no one even pretends to touch the die. It turns slowly, deliberately, as though savoring the motion. As it moves, something else changes. Bradicus's grip tightens again, but this time, it is not on his mug. His hand curls as though holding something else entirely. Something heavier. Something shaped for battle. Nived leans forward, eyes narrowed, not in curiosity now, but focus. Calculation. Anticipation. Java's gaze sharpens, tracking patterns that are no longer confined to the table. And Patches steps back. Just once.
They're not just playing.
The die lands. And somewhere in the tavern, something answers. A low sound, distant and indistinct. Not quite a growl. Not quite the wind. But something that does not belong. The line between table and tavern blurs. Between story and reality, thinner still. And for the first time since the game began, it is no longer clear which one is leading. Let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors.
Adventurers, travelers, and coffee lovers alike. Welcome to Dungeon Brew Coffee. Whether you crave the boldest brew, a magical chai, or a sweet spice cider, we've got something to fuel every quest. Sip it at home with our online blends, or catch us live at events across Virginia. and soon in West Virginia and North Carolina, as we bring the tavern experience straight to you. And here's a little extra loot for your journeys. Keep your lemonade cup and bring it back to any event we're at and save $1 on your refill. That's one more treasure for your pocket. So, whether you're chasing dragons or deadlines, make Dungeon Brew Coffee your first stop, because every great day begins with a magical cup in hand.
And now, back to our show. Whatever answered does not fade. The sound lingers, low and distant, like something circling just beyond the edge of understanding. The tavern still stands, walls firm, fire steady, but it no longer feels contained. The space stretches in ways it shouldn't, as though the room has made space for something unseen. At the center of it all, the board remains. Unmoved, unyielding, waiting. A chair scrapes sharply against the floor.
No. This is done.
He steps forward, quick now, decisive. There is no hesitation as he reaches for the edge of the board. The moment his claws make contact, the sound hits. A sharp, resonant crack, not of wood breaking, but of something resisting. The board does not slide. It does not tip. It does not even shift. It holds. Firm, as though rooted to something far deeper than the table beneath it. Java pulls back instinctively.
It won't move.
Then we break it.
Heat gathers faintly at the edges of his breath, not enough to flame, but enough to promise it.
No. You don't understand.
Then explain it. Now.
The room listens. Even the fire seems to quiet. The traveler hesitates, just for a moment too long.
It's not meant to do this.
That's not an explanation.
Another sound answers from somewhere in the tavern, a heavier one this time. A dull impact against wood. A table shifts slightly, as though something brushed against it with weight. A patron stumbles back.
There's something moving.
But there is nothing there. Nothing seen. At the board, the pieces tremble. Not violently. Not chaotically. But with purpose. The traveler steadies himself, forcing control back into her voice.
The game binds possibility to action. Choice to consequence. You started it. You have to finish it.
No, they chose to play. They did not choose to be bound.
It is not loud, but it is absolute. The distinction settles heavily. Bradicus takes a step forward, then stops. His posture shifts, caught between two versions of himself. The storyteller, the warrior. His voice, when it comes, carries both.
So we end it.
You can't. Not like that.
The die lifts again. No hand guides it. It spins once in the air and stops. Hanging there. The room holds its breath. Patches steps forward, slow and deliberate. Not toward the board, but toward the others.
Listen to me. It's feeding on this.
She gestures, not just to the board, but to them. To their stances. Their focus. Their investment.
The more you follow it, the stronger it gets.
So we stop following.
It's reacting to the story, to the choices.
Then we change them.
The idea lands. Uncertain, but possible. The die drops. It strikes the table with a solid click.
The creature emerges from the dark.
No. There is no creature.
The interruption is immediate. Firm. Not loud, but immovable. The air tightens.
That's not how the game works.
It is now. There's no creature. There's no force. There's just this tavern.
The words land like stones dropped into still water. The ripples are immediate. The faint sound of wind falters. The stretched shadows hesitate, then pull back, just slightly. The traveler's composure cracks.
You can't just ignore the roll.
Watch us.
Java places a clawed hand flat on the table, not to move the board, but to ground himself.
We choose what happens next.
Another piece shifts. But this time, it stutters. Patches steps in beside them.
No danger. No enemy. No path. Just us. Here. Now.
The pressure in the room wavers. Not gone, but shaken. Bradicus draws in a breath, steadying himself, not as the character, not as the hero of some imagined tale, but as himself.
Then I sit down.
He does. The motion is simple. Ordinary. Real. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, a sound. Soft at first. A faint crack. The dice splits. A thin line running clean through its surface. The traveler stares at it.
What have you done?
They stopped playing your game.
The board trembles once more. But this time, it is not in control. The tremor does not last. What lingers instead is the sound of something loosening, like tension pulled too tight, finally giving way. Not a snap. Not a break. But a slow unraveling. The air shifts first. That strange second rhythm beneath the tavern's warmth begins to fade, its presence thinning like mist under morning light. The phantom draft stills. The stretched edges of space draw back into themselves. The sense of distance collapses, leaving behind familiar walls, steady beams, and the comforting crackle of the hearth. At the center of it all, the board lies where it was placed. But it is only a board again. The carved pieces are still. The weight that once pressed against the room is gone. And the die, split cleanly through its center, rests in quiet halves upon the table. No movement. No pull. No will. Around the room, sound returns in uneven pieces. A chair creaks as someone finally sits. A mug is set down with shaking hands. A low voice murmurs a question, followed by another, and another, until the tavern begins to find itself again in scattered fragments of conversation. But the ease from before, that has changed. Java steps back from the table, his gaze lingering on the broken die. Behind him, the brew he left unattended is settled, its surface smooth once more, as though nothing had disturbed it at all.
It's over.
Nived exhales, slow and measured. The faint heat that once lingered at the edge of his breath is cooled, leaving only the scent of spice and something quieter beneath it.
For now.
Bradicus flexes his hand, glancing down at it as though expecting to find something still there, some weight, some weapon, some echo of the role he nearly stepped into. Finding nothing, he lets out a low, breathy laugh.
Well, I'll say this much. That was one way to spend an evening.
The humor is there, but thinner than usual. Patches moves in close, her attention shifting between the others, checking without needing to ask. Her voice, when it comes, is steady, but quieter than before.
It reached further than it should have.
Her gaze flicks briefly to the travelers.
You knew it could.
The travelers do not answer right away. When they do, the confidence from before is gone, replaced by something far more uncertain.
We knew it could respond. Not like that.
The distinction feels smaller now. One of them reaches toward the board, hesitates, then carefully begins gathering the pieces. The soft clicks of wood against wood return, but now they sound like something being put away, not set into motion. The lid of the box closes with a muted, final thud. No echo follows. Across the room, a patron lifts their mug again, then pauses. There is a faint shimmer at its surface. Just for a moment, it looks as though it might refill itself. Then it doesn't. The liquid settles, unchanged. The moment passes. A shadow near the wall stretches slightly with the firelight, then snaps back into place as the flames steady. Small things. Lingering things. Not enough to alarm, but enough to notice. At the table, fate finally moves. It is a small shift, but it draws the room's attention all the same. Her gaze rests on the broken die, on the closed box, and then, briefly, on each of them.
Games are older than players, and they remember those who try to change the rules.
No one answers that. Not immediately. The travelers gather their things more quickly now. There's no performance in them anymore, no flourish or invitation. Only care. Only caution.
We won't trouble your tavern again.
There is something like apology in it. Something like relief. Bradicus waves a hand lightly, though his eyes remain sharper than before.
Next time, perhaps bring cards.
A few quiet chuckles answer him, uncertain, but welcome. The travelers do not linger. The door opens once more, letting in a brief breath of cool night air, then closes behind them as their footsteps fade. The tavern remains, changed, but standing. Time passes in small ways. A drink is finished. A chair is righted. A conversation cautiously resumes. The fire is fed, and its warmth slowly begins to reclaim the space. Life returns, not as it was, but close enough to continue. At the table where it all began, something remains. Not the board. Not the pieces. Not the box. One die, unbroken, missed in the gathering, left behind. It sits alone on the wood, unremarkable in shape, unassuming in presence. Still. Silent. Harmless, for a long moment, nothing happens, then, without touch, without sound, it turns. Just once, and settles on a number no one sees. Not yet. At the crossroads, stories are always being told. Some are spoken. Some are played. And some continue long after the game is over.
Don't forget to hit the like button.
Yeah. And maybe drop a comment. It's like getting something in the mail. Gotta love getting some mail from your friends, right?
Maybe they don't like us, Nived. You shouldn't expect everyone to like us.
Not like us? Inconceivable. Who doesn't like a team as amazing as us? Or baby dragons at the very least.
We must let them decide. We can only play our part. And hope.
The fire is low, the mugs are empty, and tonight's tale has come to an end. But the journey is far from over. Thank you for gathering with us at Dungeon Brew Coffee Tavern, where adventure brews with every sip. Join us next time as new challenges arise, mysteries deepen, and the magic of the tavern unfolds. If you enjoyed this taste of adventure, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss a new episode. We'll save a seat for you at the tavern. See you soon.